As we mentioned earlier, one of the reasons we tend to procrastinate is if tasks are unclear. So you read through the instructions on the Blackboard classroom and you really don't know what it is exactly that you need to do with the assignment, then that I can totally see that as being frustrated or frustrating, as being frustrating, and then just kind of losing that focus again from the work. So in that sense, don't be afraid to reach out to your professors. Go to that contact the professors link on the left-hand side of your Blackboard class and just shoot that question there. Because it's accessible for all of your peers, and who knows, maybe one of your colleagues has the same question, and by you asking it there, the professor answering your question there will provide more clarity to the whole entire classroom in that sense. If it's something more personal, then yeah, definitely go ahead and reach out via email, so then that way it's more confidential between you and your professor. But above everything, professors are there to see you succeed. So make sure to reach out to your professor if you have questions on that. I know for sure when I was in my advanced quantitative course, one of the things that I did was reach out to a colleague. So a friend of mine and I would actually meet via Skype and discuss, weekly discussions or assignments together, and even try to do them together, and do the math together, and so forth. And so that just kind of not only offered us the opportunity to get questions answered, but it felt like we were not the only ones in the process. So make sure to reach out, ask for help or clarification. As Mitch and I have, mentioned already, do something, to get started. Like I think Brandy was the one that mentioned. I don't know if it was Janine or Jennifer that mentioned it, but getting started is oftentimes the hardest part. It takes self-control and self-determination to get started. So, do something. Like I said, bring up a Word document, type blah, blah, blah. I love cats. I don't know. I have to do this assignment. I don't know what's about. Do something to get started. Some of you have already talked about your strategies to remove distractions. Some of you have closed out your social media accounts completely. Some of you put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Those are excellent strategies. For me personally, since we're sleeping downstairs, we're no longer upstairs in the main living area, I tend to go upstairs to do my assignment, then I leave my phone downstairs. Sometimes even in vibrate, so I don't hear anything come in as I am upstairs. But yeah, remove distractions as much as you can. This next one is an awesome one. Break projects into smaller chunks. This is something that we actually do recommend in therapy, actually, when people come in with lots of anxiety and stress, because of a lot of things that are happening in their lives and so forth. Make things manageable for you. So if you have a 30-page paper assignment that's due, towards the end of the quarter, don't leave it to the end of the week to start looking for articles and so forth. Start working on identifying those articles early in the quarter. Start reading them. Perhaps create like an outline of what that might look like, and so forth. And so that way your brain is already being exposed to the topic and being ready to type it up by the time it's due. Establish a reward system. How many of you give yourself a tap in the back when you get something done? Well, it's great. It's great that each of you are recognizing that you don't tend to give yourself a reward or a pat in the back. It's great. It's good that you do. Of course, you don't want to do it when you're in the middle of getting a work done. But set something aside. So some of the behaviors that we talked about earlier that we tend to do to procrastinate, like watching Netflix, Hulu, or YouTube, or going into social media or talking with friends, you can actually use that as a reward system. You can tell yourself, okay, I am not going to watch Game of Thrones until I am done finishing reading this article and I understand it to its fullest, right? And so you will not reward yourself the Game of Thrones until you've finished and accomplished that goal. Do not dwell on the fact that you did not do the assignment on time. Just get it done. It's better to lose a point or two for late submission than not getting any points at all for just kind of giving up. So just forgive yourself and learn from the experience. What can you do to ensure that you avoid this behavior in the future?